Okay, so the last part of this step sequencer tutorial series, I might do some others where I show a few more techniques if I come up with something interesting. But I'm going to show you some stuff you can do where you use step sequencer in conjunction with drum machine designers' cells, which are now powered by Quick Sampler. So we can use the step sequencer and the features of Quick Sampler in Drum Machine Designer to do some really cool stuff with drum patterns. Right, so let me show you that. Okay, let's make a new track. New instrument track. And on here, I'm going to put an electronic drum kit. I'm going to use the, where are we? The Deep Bass House Kit. Boom, there it is. Let's put in an empty pan at the playhead. There it is. Ooh, there's the region, 4 bars long. Put a cycle range around it. Okay, now before I begin, I'm going to go to load up that drum template, which gives me a more sort of general MIDI friendly starting point of kick, snare, claps, second snare, hats, crash, and my 3 toms. Now, well, let's put this to a more sort of EDM friendly tempo, like 126 or something. Right, so I'm going to put in a straight bum tish, as it's known in the trade, like that, right? Now, you may not know this, but some people out there will know this. How long your open hi-hat lasts for when it goes tish, right? In house and other similar genres have the similar use of the open hat. It is critical to the groove how long your open hat lasts for. If an open hat goes tish for too long, it throws the groove completely. You need to be able to tune your open hat to be just the right length to make the pattern groove. Right now, if we go to Drum Machine Designer and we choose the hat, the open hat, there it is. Where's my headphones? All right, and go to the library with that open hat cell or pad selected. I could load up and go through all the different open hats, but these are loading channel strip preset. They're loading the channel and track for that pad, all effects on the channel, the Quick Sampler is loaded, and the sample is loaded into Quick Sampler. So it's a bit slow. And he's seriously telling me you're going to go through every single open hat looking for the right open hat, plus through the open 2 hats, etc., and pedal hats to get the right length hat that you want with the right opening? No. What we're going to do is we're going to exploit the features of Quick Sampler and Step Sequencer together to get it with like perfect, right? Now, what we do is this. There it is, the open hat. And we go to the Quick Sampler. This is the Quick Sampler on the track and channel for that pad. You know, it's built into Drum Machine Designer now. I don't need to go, like, open up the Drum Machine Designer stack, go down, find my open hat, there, select its track, there's its channel, there's the Quick Sampler, open the Quick Sampler, because you get a copy of that Quick Sampler underneath Drum Machine Designer, right? So all I need to do is select the open hat pad, Quick Sampler, there's the sampler. Now it's in one shot, of course. It's in one shot because that's the default mode for Quick Sampler or any sampler when playing back drums. You just want, like, in one shot that the length of the note makes no difference. A tiny little short length note triggers the sample, and as soon as it receives that note on trigger, it ignores the note off, following just a split second later from the short little note. As long as it receives that note on command, it plays the sample all the way through to the end. So the note length has no bearing on how long this sample plays back for. It will play back always the same length. But if we switch it to classic, now the note length is going to determine how long down the length of this sample gets played back. Now these are little 16th length notes. We know that already from the previous bits of the tutorial. The default step value is 16th. That's the timing of the step, but the note that occupies it is a 16th in length. So what we do now is we change the value here to gate, and we reduce, not just that one, all of them. Let's zoom in on that. We reduce the gate of all these 16th notes down, 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 down. Now they're 50%. They're all a 30-second length now being triggered on those. And with the sampler for the open hat switch to classic, now these are little 30-second length notes firing off. The sample will only play back for as long as the note, and so the sample will trigger till about there with the 30-second note and then just stop, right, like this. You can see it's triggering to about there, then it just cuts off completely. So what we do now to stop that sudden cut off, we go to here, the synthesis for the sampler, switch to an ADSR envelope, get the decay right up to the top and then slam it hard to the left as far as it will go, no decay. Now give it a little bit of release, just a little, like a tenth of a second or something. Right, that means that when the note ends and the sample stops playing there, it doesn't suddenly cut out, it just dies away with a little bit of decay. We're going to make these notes shorter now, even shorter, really short, like that. Tiny, tiny notes. Now, if I reduce the release to nothing, those tiny notes play the sample about that far down its length, and then it'll just stop. But with a little bit of release, so that you get some decay. Hey presto, perfect little short hats, the exact length I want. And you can either go with a much, much shorter note and a little bit more release, right? Much, much, much shorter note and a little bit extra release. Or a slightly longer note with a bit less release. And then you find the compromise. I'm going to go with something like that. And there's my perfect little blippy hat. That splash of a hat is just enough. I mean, you could go further and change the start time so the sample starts further into its length. Right, but there's my beautiful little splashy hat. Now just go to the pack controls, just turn it up a bit. Pitch it down, whatever I like. Oh my days! Oh my days, blood, that is like perfect. Oh, that is just beautiful. A beautiful little knocking but slightly splashy hat. Let's make it even shorter, the note. Perfect. And that's what you can do by using the gate to get the note lengths versus to trigger the sample exactly the length you want by switching it to classic. And then you don't have to trawl through the library looking for the open hat with the right amount of decay, the shortness that you want. You just tune it yourself. Bing, bang, bong, son. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, there's one. Let me just show you one more. It's a similar theme, except we're using another feature now of step sequencer. Let's make another track. Let's mute that one. Let's make another instrument track. And on this electronic drum kit, I'll put 808 Flex. Now that's an 808 kit that has been ported over from the fantastic content packs for GarageBand iOS, the Flex and Flow content pack, which is loads of you know, sort of West Coast style hip hop stuff, including this 808 kit. So there it is, it's loaded. At this point here, let's make a pattern. Pardon me. There's the pattern. Container empty, put the cycle range around it. Right. Now again, I'm going to put that drum template on before I start. If you want to learn about that, watch the other tutorials. I think I talk about the templates here in the first video. The playlist is in the description below with all the videos. Right. Okay, this is cool, this one. So let's put the metronome on. It's a much slower speed now. Metronome. And we're just going to put a pattern in for the kick. There's my kick pattern. Timing's right, but this is the wrong kick. So I'll open up Drum Machine Designer. There's the kick. Now there's the sample for it. It's a short little 808 sample. That's now the selected pad. Here's all the kicks in the library. The one I want is the 808 pure kick. This kick 1, 808, is a sort of pure. All the 808 kit stuff. This came over again from GarageBand iOS. They're unprocessed. So you get with this one the long booming 808 kick. So let's load that up onto the kick pad. There we go. We got a nice. This is a long 808 boom kick sample that lasts just over 1.8 seconds in length, nearly 2 seconds in length. Right. Right. But this is mostly sort of the very end of the tail you don't hear. So about a second and a half you hear it before. Right, okay. Now we're going to do the same thing. These notes, let's bring this down so we just see those notes. There they are. These notes, these 808 kick notes there, let's close the library so we get more width, are triggering this. These are little 16th length notes. So it doesn't matter how long the note is. Every time one of these little notes triggers the kick, it'll play all the way through. But we switch to classic. Now the note length does determine how much of the sample plays back. And these little 16th length notes only play the sample to about there. Then it just stops. Or to there, actually. Right. So what we do now is we go here. Do the same thing with the envelope that we did with the hi-hat. ADSR, decay right up, slam it across, no decay. A little bit of release. Now at about just over 1/10 of a second. These will still be short little bumps, but they'll have some decay. Now what we do is, come on, we go to tie. We use the tie feature. We tie this first note together, a quarter note and 3 more 16ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 16ths in length. So this very long note is going to play the sample all the way to about here. Right, watch. Oh yeah, baby. Let's tie that one more time. Then use gate just to back that off a smidge. So it's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 16ths and not quite all of the next 16th. Like that. Then this last note there, we'll tie that so it's an 1/8 in length. That'll be a little bit longer than these two blips. And then I'm going to use the gate just to slightly reduce this one, not quite an 1/8. And then I'm going to go in and just bring out my release a smidge more. bit of volume. If I want to make these even shorter, shorten those. So that's a really short one, a 30-second. And that one as well. Or make that longer and that short. See what I mean? You can do anything you want. That's how you get 808 kick patterns where the length of the kick booms constantly varies. You can do this with any drum. Any drum. Go to this crash here. Right. Well, it's a long crash sample, right? Let's give it a bit more volume. Well, where's the row for it? There it is, crash. Let's put a crash in there. Now that little 16th, no, because the sampler is for the crash is in one shot. We'll just play that crash all the way through. Well, if we put it to classic, details, ADSR, decay up, slammed across, a little bit of release. We can achieve choked type cymbals, you know, little short choky cymbals. You know, not the ideal cymbal that, because it's a bit artificial sounding. If I load up a different one, crash, and what I want is I want Crate Digger, because Crate Digger is sort of supposed to be all samples taken off vinyl from digging in the crate, so that should give me more. Yeah, more natural sounding crash, but we simply switch it to classic and this short note will only play a little bit of its length. Right, then we go to here, envelope, boom, boom, bit of release. Oh, you can do choked cymbals, you see. A bit more volume on that. And then here, tie, gate. Here I can have a longer cymbal. Maybe not that long. You know, all that stuff. Yeah, so you know you can do all that stuff as well. Yeah, just we're exploiting this thing that any sample in the quick sampler behind each drum machine designer pad can be switched to classic, where the note length then determines handle the playback of the sample, and then we just mess with the tie and the gate and the envelope to get the length of exactly the open hi-hat length we want, or exactly the length of a booming 808 kick we want, anything like that. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. There's a whole bunch of stuff for step sequencer. As I said, I tried doing this as one long tutorial, and you can't get it down to less than 2 hours if you're going to show all this stuff. So I've done it in these little short ones. Well, short, I mean, some of them are long, but I mean, you know, just breaking it down into bits. Yeah, but I've covered everything, and I've shown you a bunch of. I've shown you how the stuff works in context, and giving you some ideas. So, as I usually say at the end of these, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Yeah, look, hope that's all cool. Subscribe. As I said, the entire playlist is linked in the description below for all the step sequencer tutorials I've done. All full of examples, showing you everything actually working. and a few techniques and things. Check out the playlist, subscribe, but just as importantly, get the word out there on any social media or forums you use. Get the word out, and get more people to come to the channel and what have you. I hope that's all been cool. I hope that's useful. Any questions in the comments below as usual, all that stuff. What am I going to move on to next? Well, I suppose next I'm going to look at the live loops. I mean, I know it already from GarageBand iOS. It's another feature that's been brought over from GarageBand iOS, so we'll look at that next probably. But anyway, look, I hope that's cool. See you for the next one.